Gotta hit it.
Didn't get it.
Got to hit it right there. Little
She
too
knows
thick.
it.
What?
A little too much air.
A little too much air. Did that 4-ball grow?
I would be very, very surprised if you give the #1 player in the world ball in hand with balls on the table pretty much open. You should be able to finish the job. So first you get this rack. The next semifinal match against Allison Fisher, the #2 ranked player in the world. It's unusual to find 1 and 2 playing each other to get into the finals. But Gerda Hofstetter is waiting there, and she's in a phenomenal week in Peoria, beating both Karen and Allison. She's hot right now. Each of these two players wants a chance to get it. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Don. Didn't mean to bring it up.
She's playing. Said, and you have to go perfect to win this game.
It's so tough to get to this point in the tournament, to get on TV. We talked about it before. Take advantage of the opportunity when you get it. Elena Tornfeld is starting to feel the pressure of getting through, winning a title. Hasn't happened since '97. Right now it's the shooting behind. This is This is close her out, Karen. Mitch Lawrence and Dawn Hopkins watching Karen Corr get ready for what is a very, very important match. The chance to move against the rating, and this is something that's kind of unusual. We'll get into it a little bit later. #1 against #2 in a semifinal matchup. There's a good reason for it. Gerda Hofstetter is that reason, but for now, we'll concentrate on this great match. Dawn?
Great match, but not a great rack opening. There's a lot of clutter here. The 1 ball's up here at this end of the table. The 3 is the next ball, which is tied up with the 9. And then you've got the 5 and the 6 here. So, and there's not really a shot for the 1, so she's going to have to push. The 2 is down. If the 3 and the 9 are dead, that's a possibility. But now that means who's going to get to that 1 first? Looks like she's going to go for the hit.
She does.
I don't know. It's very close. It looks like it's aiming more for this side of the pocket. Usually if you're on this side of the 3 shooting in this way, it'll throw the 9 that way. But shooting from the angle that she's at, I don't believe that she can make the 9 from here.
10.
Extension.
She takes her 1 extension, and we'll quickly give you the rules. This is, of course, 9-ball. This is a race to 7 games. Each player has a 30-second shot clock with 1 extension per rack. This is cue ball fouls only.
It's just trying to create some sort of safety. At the opposite end. The danger here is for Karen is that the 3 is over by the 4 ball. Here's the 4 tied up with the 7. So if Allison can pocket the 3 and break out these, she's going to have a shot possibly on the 4.
There's nothing you want more than to jump out to a lead. Both players have had a chance at the table. Allison with that shot, Karen coming back now. What a phenomenal matchup this has been over the last couple of years in terms of 9-ball, but around the world. Snooker earlier, 9-ball now. 2 fabulous competitors going after each other with regularity.
play a safety here, just putting the cue ball behind it. Well, she wanted to get the cue ball behind the 8 ball, but at least the 3 is protected. The 3 doesn't have a pocket. Allison can see the 3. How full, I'm not sure.
Question whether that 9 is in the way of her cutting it in, but she's getting down over this pretty quickly, Don.
I don't think that she can make the 3, but you might be right.
Nope. Let's see where that stops rolling. Tough trying to get the speed of the cloth early in the match.
Where Karen has had a match on this table already, it does give her a little bit of advantage when it comes to the ball speed.
As she looks at that, we'll give you the playing conditions in a second after the shot. Great equipment the players are playing on. A good look at a very focused Karen Corr. You'll see that look a lot.
Both of them falling a little bit short of what they want to do. It only takes, it's like a shot. Safety is just like a shot. If you have it a quarter of an inch off from where you were trying to hit it, it's going to change drastically the outcome.
Both of these players, I have a feeling there's not too much nerve going on here because both players are very used to playing on TV. As a matter of fact, these faces have become so familiar in terms of big TV matches. Of course, as I say that, the curse of the commentator takes effect, as it always does. As Allison goes back to the table, I'm going to talk to you about the playing conditions. This beautiful Brunswick Billiard Gibson table. Centennial balls by Brunswick Billiards. Simonis cloth, the official cloth of the WPBA. Let's see what Karen can do here.
It's another safety, just putting the cue ball back over by those object balls. There's a lot of balls in the middle of the table there, but they can't seem to get them in between the object ball that they're shooting at and the cue ball. See, these balls right here are a big wall, so if Karen had put her anywhere over here, it would have been good. Allison's just going to play a safety right back.
Or go for the bank. Like she was kind of biding her time, saying that get an offensive here, big shot for her. What about the 4 to the 5?
She's going to make the 4. I'm not sure what she's going to do with the 5 because there's such a fine line of where that cue ball is going to end up. There is not a pocket for it unless it gets. See, there was not a pocket on that side of the table where the cue ball is. She had to play it behind the 5.
Breaks that 6 up there in the question. That's okay. So that to roll down too far.
Now the 7 ball is hanging in the pocket. The key thing here is to make sure that after she pockets the combination, she's going to have a shot. And she doesn't. See, she hit the 7 on the wrong side. She didn't want to hit it on that side. So now she's going to have to come with a really good shot. She might put a lot of right-hand English on the cue ball and just spin that 6 into the pocket. Otherwise, she could try to play a safety from it, but very difficult position.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that slice. Going to a deli and asking for an extra thin. Allison Fisher has shown us a couple of great offensive shots in this rack after a whole ton of safety play on the 3. And this is what it's going to take by each of these players, I have a feeling, in this match. Great shot making at opportune times. Allison Fisher. The match against Karen Corr signifies the continuation of a rivalry that's been simmering for a number of years. I asked Allison earlier how she views that rivalry.
Well, we've had rivalry going on for about 2 years. It came from our professional snooker background, so it's been going a long time. And then Karen came here a few years ago, and has been dominating the game in the last year or so. So it's a fun rivalry. I was there, now she's there, so I want to get back there. But I'm sure it'll be a good match, and we've had many good matches in the last year or so, so I'm looking forward to it.
Since 1845, the standard of superior craftsmanship preferred by experts around the world. Welcome, everybody, to the Paradise Hotel Casino. Mitch Lawrence and Dawn Hopkins, and what a treat for us. Two of the two best players in the world, certainly over the last number of years, meeting in semifinal action. What's the deal?
Yeah, the deal is that they ran up against a horse. You know, Gerda Hofstetter is waiting in the winner's bracket, and she put them both in this position. So this is really like a finals, but it's the semifinals.
I think it's that no matter what, over the years, they've had this great rivalry, and they find a way to meet each other. They don't care where it is, semifinal, final.
There we go.
Final.
Bring it up, ladies.
This is the Brunswick Billiards Midwest Classic presented by the American Pool Players Association. And as Dawn said, a chance to meet Gerda Hofstetter in the finals. Allison with the break. I think a shot on the one, Dawn.
Yes, she does have a shot on the one. This is a great opening here. She's got the one up here, go in the corner, come around for the two, which is on this side of the table. The three is down here, but it's away from the nine, so it's not tied up. I don't see any problems as long as she stays in position. Good shot. Now, the one thing is that she doesn't have a pocket over here for the three, and she's straight in now on the two. So that only leaves her two choices, to play the three in this side, which she's looking at now, or to come back and play the combination. Unless she can finagle that cue ball to come on the other side of the three ball. She's going to play the three in the side.
There's the finagle.
She's a pretty good finagler.
Cue ball finagling is somewhat of a lost art, but we're getting back to it now with Allison. And you can tell that this means something here. You're going to see some looks on both of these players' faces during the course of this match. She was not happy there.
Because she didn't roll up where she wanted, although I do believe that she can see the four, the five. See, this five right here is big right now. So if she can see all of the four, she's fine. But I think she has to spin around it a little bit. That's why she's not happy.
Technique. You couldn't have two better examples of technique. Corr and Allison Fisher.
That's their biggest strength out here, is both of them are technically so sound in their stance, their grip, their stroke. If you watch them, see how she sets herself at the table. When she goes to shoot, you'll watch. She'll stand, she'll visualize the shot, she's made her decision, and then she just bends at the waist. Everything just falls right into place.
And it is absolutely repeatable. We have watched this for years now, and it's just gotten better and better. Also, a lot of it comes from her snooker background, having to be very, very steady. The longer snooker table, smaller pockets, smaller balls.
And it's amazing on our tour how all the very fast rising players are snooker players.
Watch out.
She's lucky she bumped into the nine, because otherwise she would have been in big trouble.
Instead, makes the decision where she wants to play. For Allison Fisher.
always have our battles, you know. Myself and Allison, we've been competing against each other for years, so every time we kind of meet at the table is always a great challenge. So like, it's just the battle, I guess.
A good look at the rack that's become a fixture on the WPBA Classic Tour, the Sardo Tight Rack, the only rack that's got repeatable precision. This is one of the things that's at stake, besides a very nice paycheck, the Champions Trophy on the right. We'll go to the champion, the Brunswick Billiards Midwest Classic. We're in East Peoria. Again, 3 and the 8 right to the side for Allison. Let's see where the 1 winds up.
Well, Allison sure has the speed of the table on the breakdown. The 1 ball is up here. Not the easiest start. Not like the last rack, and the 2 ball is down here at the other end. So it just depends how comfortable she is with the shot. She could try to slice it in. It's chancy, but the cue ball is going to come down with the 2, so that's a good thing. And if she overcuts it, the 1 stays up there.
Takes her extension.
It's not really an easy save from here. That's the problem. If she could lock up the cue ball, I think that would be the choice. But because that's not an easy thing to do, she may choose to try to cut it in.
I'll push out.
So after all that, she decides to push out. I think, Don, it's like you said, one way or another, trying to make some kind of something happen with the 1 just didn't make sense to her.
Well,
So
it was tempting to go for it, but obviously she wants to keep control of the table, and if the 1 hung in the pocket, Karen would end up an easy run out. So.
Well, from midway in the first rack, Allison has had control of the table, and now she gets this back, and we'll see what she can do with her own work.
This is tougher than the last shot, I think. But
She said she'd like to push again. I believe that's what's called hoist by your own petard right there. And she's used up her extension, remember that. Now that can come into play very quickly if shots stay tough. Bring it back and hide it down at the end of the table. And
yeah.
did not do that.
I bet she wishes she had that first shot back.
That's exactly what she said. But as we know, you don't have that option. So she will wait and see what the #1 ranked player in the world can do with it.
Karen has the 1. If she puts it up into the corner, I don't know whether the cue ball could scratch. She could just cut it in to the side. Just has to play an easy shot on the 2. Here's a tough one, Mitch. We've got the 2. Not that any of the other ones were tough, but she has the 2 and the 4 is down the same end. So holding the cue ball for this 4, if Karen elected to play that 2, is not a fun task.
2001 Player of the Year. Every good reason for it.
Possibly thinking of the safety. That's what she's doing with her. But look at the cue ball is dead on the rail back there, frozen. So her speed was very good. She left Allison able to see the 2 ball. So now Allison has to come with a safety because there's really nowhere for her to pocket it and get that position on the 4. Thinning the 2 ball and sticking it on the 4 might be a good option. There you go, just like that. Now this is a better place to be because there's the 5 and the 9 right in between. Now Karen's probably going to have to kick. Now she could come around this way and kick the 2 out. If she makes the 2 in the side, the cue ball sticks there for the 4.
What was impressive about that shot, Don, was that she had no extensions, and she got a 10-second warning, got down, and then just hit that shot.
Well, she knew exactly what she needed
great.
to do. Karen's going to masse around these balls and try to come behind the two, kick the two up the other end.
So a great safety there by Allison Fisher gives her exactly what she wanted, which is ball in hand on the two, and with a 2-0 lead and a race to 7. This would be for 3 consecutive racks should she maneuver her way around the table. 5-time consecutive player of the year, 5-time national champion, 4-time world champion, her last in 2001, 13 consecutive top 3 finishes. The list goes on and on and on.
She is the most incredible player I've ever seen, both of these players.
But Allison's done it over years, and that's Karen is on her way to trying to accomplish that. But boy, very tough to duplicate what Allison has done over here. Except that there are so many good players coming up now, and I have a feeling that a lot of them are because of players like Allison coming up and being on TV so much. And we'll talk a little bit later on in the match about the number of good young players that are out on tour now, starting to make their presence felt. I think it's going to be tougher for Karen and all the other younger players to keep those kind of streaks alive, because, man, it's tough out here.
Well, success breeds success,
woman,
they say.
it's tough out here. 2 balls left for a 3-rack lead. And off a fantastic safety that locked Karen Corr up, Allison Fisher does what she has to do to continue 3 racks in a row here in Peoria. Now let's take a look at this week's top finishers being brought to you by the American Pool Players Association. These 2 screens will be about the up-and-coming stars on the WPBA tour. Monica. Hi, everybody. Mitch Lawrence, along with what I was talking about, one of the great up-and-coming stars on the WPBA tour, Kim Shaw. Hi, Kim.
Hello.
First of all, congratulations on a fabulous tournament. You finished 7th, 8th in this event, which
Thank
is the
you.
highest finish you've had.
It is.
And you've got to be thrilled about performing that way in this great event in Peoria.
Yeah, I was confident coming into the event, and I knew that if I just concentrated on my game, played well, and enjoyed myself, then the results would come, and they did.
Well, it's an interesting attitude for someone who hasn't been out that long. You have a couple of great titles behind you, the BCA Masters title and the Junior National title and Amateur National title, excuse me. And then you come up against the best players in the world of 9-ball, and yet you're able to make that kind of shift. It says a lot about your game.
Well, I'd played Karen and Allison in England at snooker, so I knew what they were all about, and I knew their game. I was confident, like I say, just enjoying myself.
Well, you surely did that. We'll talk a little bit about it. We're glad you're with us in the booth for this rack. Mitch Lawrence and Dawn Hopkins, along with Kim Shaw and Allison Fisher, 3 consecutive racks off the bat against #1 ranked Karen Corr. And Dawn, stay at the table.
Yes, she will. She pocketed 4 ball. Here's the 1. The 2 is down here. I don't believe that the 1 can go into this pocket past the 3. So let's see what she does here. She may try to cut it in. She has a safety, but I don't think that she can cut the 1 in by the 3. It's going to be hard to get back to the 2 ball. So I think that's why she decides to play it safe. There's no sense in making the ball if you can't get on the
That's how Karen and Allison play. If they can't give it 100% pot and position, they'll play safe.
pot, that means pocketing.
Pocket the ball, sorry.
We're introducing you to the international language.
Sorry for all you Americans.
You have seen a lot of these two, Kim.
I
So you
have,
started
I
playing
have.
snooker at 16.
At 16 I started playing. Allison was already on the tour. Karen came up about a couple of months after I did. But their techniques are so good, and that's what makes them number one and number two.
Now, have you learned the same technique over there
Well,
that they have?
in snooker you have to have a good technique, and that's where it comes from. And that gives you confidence going into a match, knowing that when you do get a bit nervous, under pressure, you can concentrate on your technique and stroke that cue ball how you want to.
Kim, I have to ask you this. Allison walks around looking at where the 3 is. You're originally from Kingston, England,
Kingston, England, yeah.
and you live now in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
That's correct.
A little bit of culture shock there.
I enjoy it. I mean, I did work in London, so I'm 10 minutes from Manhattan, which is nice. So I'm enjoying it very much over here. It is. Everybody is so nice and so friendly, and they've just made me feel so welcome. And doing something that you love for a living is great. It's like being on holiday all the time.
And you've met a lot of nice girls on the regional circuit.
I have,
as
yeah.
you've come up through the ranks.
I have, and I've kept a lot of good friends. Which is a great experience. Really nice people I can trust. Coming out here on my own.
Here's a testy shot here. 5 down the rail. She's going to need to stop the cue ball for the 6 in the corner pocket.
Should just be thinking about keeping still on this shot. Concentrate on practice.
How do you feel about hearing another British Isles accent as a great snooker player coming over on the tour?
Actually, I really honestly love it because it does push my game up a level. I've changed my technique to match some of the things that they do. And I think it's wonderful that all of a sudden, after all these years in the way that Americans have learned pool, to see such a different
It is, and it is.
I want to talk about standards. The crowd going crazy because of Allison Fisher's ability to make shots, to get position, play shape on the table. You see it right here. 7 there, 8 there. This would be for 4 racks. If she can make that. Between Allison and Karen, they have won 17 of the last 20 events on tour. Up to this point in this match, Karen has had no shot at getting anything close to what Allison is doing. I want to thank Kim Corr seeded. That's where she's been most of this match. The Brunswick semifinal action seeded against Gerda Hofstetter waiting. The break's been working, her shots have been working. She's hit beautiful safeties. There is nothing she
including making a ball on break. Here she is, dead straight shot on the 1 into the side, the 2 right there. I don't see a lot of problem in this rack. The 4 is on the rail over on the right-hand side there, right here. 5 is here. So that's probably going to be the toughest part of this whole rack, is playing the 4 ball, getting position on 5.
We mentioned that between the two of these players, they've won 17 of the last 20 events on tour. This year in 2002, Allison started the year off winning the Cuetec Cues Players Championship in Valley Forge, won at Viejas in San Diego, and then won the BCA Open 9-ball championship in Las Vegas. They are 3-3 this year against each other, and Allison's looking to get out and take the lead in that particular race. Down the rail, she's just looking
This match than I have seen her in all of those matches that you're talking about. And I really think that she has her focus back. She has a lot of confidence right now. Karen hasn't really missed any shots, I don't think. I think she just made a couple of safety errors, but she hasn't done a lot wrong.
That is absolutely true. Against a great player.
Hold on, Steve. Is that okay?
So many people having a good time. You see that sign behind Allison. It says APA, American Pool Players Association, the world's largest pool league, great sponsor of the WPBA Classic Tour. And a lot of the people here in Peoria, members of that organization, they know about pool. They appreciate great shots. And they're not afraid to show it. And they've got to see Allison and the other great players this week. But this match, it's been Allison.
Yeah, it's funny how, people say, how can she go through all this and still concentrate? It seems like the top players don't let those type of things get to them. Somebody that's really focused in, that's so into the game.
Well, it's kind of well documented now that Allison lost her father last year. Everybody was incredibly sad about that. Peter was a wonderful man, and Allison's biggest supporter. And she told me when we talked about it that at first it was unbelievably hard, but it made her have a completely different outlook about what life is about and what's really important. And I think she's taken that to heart, and it's let her play with a certain freedom. It doesn't mean she doesn't miss, it doesn't mean she doesn't lose. But what it means is that she's a lot more willing to just enjoy the process. And I think that's part of what's going on here. She's just really enjoying playing.
Absolutely.
She's got a tough shot on the 9, and this would be for almost an insurmountable, say, 5-rack lead. Although Karen Corr fully capable of coming back. There's a little bit of a chance. Now, good players know where to miss.
That's a professional shot.
That's exactly what happened.
Misses good, doesn't she?
See, Karen just confirmed that. She misses good, doesn't she? She said. You're down 4-0. You've had about 3 shots at the table. And all of a sudden you get back, and this is what you're left with.
I have to say at this point, she needs to go for the bank.
Extension.
Because to play a safety is almost as hard as making the shot itself. She's down 4-0. Why not, right?
I say go for it.
Go for it.
Of course, I'm sitting up here and you're sitting up here.
What do you think, people at home? Go for it?
We can't hear you. There she goes.
She went for it. Didn't quite get it.
Now the question is, did she get any kind of roll? And the answer is no. There you see what Allison has that lead. Very, very tough for Karen Corr to come to the table and try to make something happen. And Allison says, okay, even when I miss it, she's in a tough position. She takes advantage. Allison Fisher, Karen Corr, here at the Paradise Hotel Casino. Biennial Balls by Brunswick Billiards, the official ball of the WPBA Classic Tour. And there you see the name, Brunswick Billiards, the official table and ball sponsor of the WPBA Classic Tour. And this is a really, really great looking Brunswick Gibson table. Allison Fisher loving it right now, Don. Karen Corr, again, seated for the break. 6. And Allison Fisher trying to break. Watch the 7 go. For the first time, she'll have a little bit of a problem after that first break.
Well, Karen for sure will be up the table. I don't know that she'll like where she's going to be. The 1 ball is here. The 2 and the 5 are tied up. The 9 and the 3 are tied up. Very messy rack here. Actually, the 3's not tied up, but it's near the 9. So Allison's pushing. I believe she pushed for a kick. And what you would do here is kick behind the 1, send the 1 down the other end of the table, and try to get the cue ball behind the 3 and the 9, because there's a little bit of a wall there. What'd she say?
Again, she knew that I think after she hit it, she knew Karen was going to give it back to her. Just kinda
I don't know. I kind of like this shot, actually. I like the, because the 3 and the
kick
9
behind.
are a wall, as long as you hit the 1 the right way, the cue ball's going to come down by the 2. See that?
Players just, it's interesting to me that Karen is taking it. And almost a natural safety there. I mean, once she hit it, to
That's
bring
right.
the ball back. And
That's right.
Now she's got to go to the jump cues. It is a little bit strange, I think. It seemed that she would have preferred to take that shot and let Allison have a shot with a jump cue.
Right.
But we'll see. We've seen Karen hit some great jump shots in her earlier match to get to this point against the Invader. She hit a shot very center. I think so. Here it is from above.
Look at this shot perfectly. It's almost exactly the same shot. She has got this one down pat. Now, the cue ball does not go into the pocket, so she's going to play it safe and just tuck the cue ball back behind the 5. Didn't hit it hard enough. She doesn't
That's
have
going to be,
rail.
now see, this is what's interesting, because the fact that she didn't choose to play that push out, and it's a safety like that, where she gives Allison back the ball in hand, maybe there's a little something. Karen's not quite as sharp. Now, it could be because she hasn't been on the table. It's just
It could
dominating.
be.
But that's very uncharacteristic for Karen Corr at this point. Now Allison's going to try to figure out where she wants to put ball in hand.
Well, you know, Mitch, something we didn't consider is the morning that Karen has had, where she has one of her
Very
best
tough.
friends are in the hospital right now, and Karen was at the hospital with her this morning. That has to take something out of you.
And I think it's the kind of thing that kind of plays in the back of your mind. You try to get through it, you try to play. There's no excuses for the way she's playing or for the fact that Allison has been playing great 9-ball. Just a little something Karen's had to think about, and maybe her mind hasn't been 100% on the game.
Well, Allison wanted to draw the cue ball about 6 more inches and play the 3 up into the corner here, but what she did is she played it short, thinking that she didn't want to get stuck back here with the cue ball, and now there's not really a pocket down in that direction by the 8. I think a safety play is what's going to come here. Oh. Boy,
And look at the shot. This is great peripheral 9-ball vision that Allison Fisher has always had.
well, you know she's very comfortable, too, to shoot a shot like that. You have to consider the lead that she has.
Kind of a freewheeling thing where you just go ahead and try something. But the first tournament that Allison ever played in the United States was in Charlotte. She finished 9th in that event and then won the next event right after that. Even though she was learning the game, even though she hadn't played a lot of 9-ball, she has had an ability to learn the game, pick up the game, and see things just a little bit, a little bit differently than most players. I think that's one of the reasons she has risen to the point that she's been. Karen, too, very, very capable of learning and improving. And as you said earlier, making everybody else around them improve.
That's right. And you have to love that.
And right now, Allison Fisher is just having a good time. Because trust me, this does not happen often against Karen Corr.
Trust you.
I'm serious.
This is a place where I will trust you.
You get if these two balls go for a 6-rack lead and on the hill in a race to 7. It does not happen that often. As great as Allison is, she has just played unbelievably. Look at the speed right there. No fear. She's showing you why. For 5 years, she was the Player of the Year consecutively. I guarantee you that 6 racks ago, there was no way you would envision being at the table with a 6-0 lead. It's amazing. It's exactly where she wants to be. Another chance at the break, another good break, and a shot at the 1. It's been a clinic so far. We've seen her do this, Dawn Hopkins, a number of times over the last 6 or 7 years, where she gets in a zone and she has a chance to stay at the table. And nothing.
That's right. She has a good opportunity to win this set right here. She's got a shot in the 1. It's a very nice path to get down to the 2 ball.
She's concentrating, obviously. She's so and I got to say, obviously, Karen has not been in this match. After the first couple of racks, it just seemed like it was Allison's way. But if you enjoy watching the game, you wanted to see a match, but you've got to love watching what Allison's doing here and the perfection that she's been playing.
And have you ever seen Karen lose 7-0?
I don't believe I have. I don't believe I have.
Or in any
Especially
match.
at this late stage of the tournament. I've seen her do it to some people, but I've not seen her be in that position. And it's the kind of pressure when Allison's playing her best over the years that she puts on other players. You get to the table. She just hasn't had a chance to do much.
That's right.
Allison Fisher making quick work.
There's
The best player in the world over the last
There's only like 1 or 2 things that could go wrong here. And I doubt that that's going to happen with the way that she's shooting.
No balls tied up.
Well, the 7 ball, the 8 is in between the 5 and the 7. So she just wants to not get stuck behind the 8. See how close?
We've seen this whole match. After a whole lot of safety play in rack number 1, Allison took advantage and then broken right out in rack number 2, and she has not looked back. Angle on the 8. Man, this is very impressive.
I know. Not to Karen, I don't think.
Well, I think if you asked her, she'd say it was pretty impressive.
Well, I guess.
There's not a whole lot she can do. Look at that. Appreciate what Allison has done. Allison will be looking for revenge, and Corr looking